Oh, so get this. Today we're going to really dive deep into something super important.
Okay.
The Magna Carta for disabled persons in the Philippines.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
Shut up, yes.
So we're talking Republic Act No, 727072.
Right.
And honestly, this document, it's going to change how you see things.
Yeah.
It's really incredible.
It is.
So to help us unpack all of this, I've got an expert's name here with me today.
Hi.
Maybe you can start by just giving us a little bit of background. What is this Magna Carta all about?
Well, it's really incredible how this law really strives to make sure that Filipinos with disabilities have the same rights and opportunities as everybody else.
Whoa. Okay, so we're not just talking small potatoes here.
No, not at all.
This is big picture stuff.
Absolutely.
We're talking employment, education, healthcare, access to voting. It's leveling the playing field across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And it dives right into specific. For example, it's crystal clear that you can't be paid less for the same work just because you have a disability.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize it was so explicit.
It's very explicit.
It just comes right out and says it.
It lays down the law, yeah.
Wow, no room for loopholes there.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's amazing.
And it goes beyond that.
Okay.
It's not just stating the obvious.
Okay.
It talks about reasonable accommodation.
Okay, so tell me more about that reasonable accommodation.
Yeah.
What does that look like in real life?
So imagine you're applying for a job and you need to stand for long periods.
Okay.
But say you're a wheelchair user.
Okay.
Reasonable accommodation means that the employer needs to explore different options, like providing a stool or maybe adjusting the workstation to make it work for you.
So it's about removing barriers, not just saying, in that situation, the needs are very different.
It recognizes that true equality means adapting to individual needs.
I love that.
But it goes even further.
Wait, there's more.
There's always more.
I'm already impressed.
So what happens if, even with accommodations, maybe finding a job in the open market is a challenge?
Right.
That's where sheltered employment comes in.
Sheltered employment. Okay, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. So picture this, a very supportive work environment.
Okay.
But it's tailored to your specific strengths and abilities.
Okay.
So that's the idea behind sheltered employment.
Got it.
It provides these opportunities for people with disabilities to work in, facilities or even on projects.
Okay.
That are designed to match their skills.
That's incredible. It's the law is saying we're going to look at every avenue to make sure that you have a chance to succeed.
Exactly.
And speaking of succeeding, let's talk about how the Magna Carta tackles education.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's obviously a huge part of this.
Huge. And this section's so important.
Yeah.
Because it recognizes that a one-size-fits-all approach to education just simply doesn't work.
Of course not.
Every student has their own unique needs.
Right.
And for students with disabilities, it's even more pronounced,
Absolutely. So how does the law address that?
Well, it mandates that schools must admit all learners with special needs.
Okay.
With very few exceptions.
Okay.
And it goes beyond just letting them in the door.
Right.
It's about providing them with the support they need to actually succeed.
Okay, so they have to be admitted.
Yes.
But how does the law ensure that those students are actually supported?
Right. So it calls for individualized support.
Okay.
Tailored to the needs of that specific student.
Okay.
It's instead of forcing a square peg into a round hole,
right.
The education system should adapt to embrace the unique shape of each student.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So it's not one size fits all. It's more custom tailored education.
Exactly.
I love it.
So, for example, for visually impaired students,
okay,
the law, it emphasizes the use of Braille,
right.
orientation and mobility training, and mainstreaming whenever possible.
Mainstreaming meaning?
Oh, good catch. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It means integrating students with disabilities into regular classrooms as much as possible.
Got it.
So they're not isolated.
Right. It's creating that inclusive environment from the beginning.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But what about students with other types of disabilities?
Right.
What does the law say about,
It covers a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of ground.
Yep.
So for those with hearing impairments,
okay,
the focus there is on communication-focused curricula.
Okay.
Things like using interpreters and getting support from specialists who can, help them navigate the challenges of,
right.
a hearing world.
It's really amazing how much detail the law goes into.
It's pretty incredible.
It seems like they really tried to think of everything.
They did.
That's really cool.
And for students with orthopedic handicaps.
Okay.
It even like gets into building accessibility standards.
So no more being stuck on the second floor because the school wasn't designed with accessibility in mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ramps, elevators, accessible restrooms.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff, it's non-negotiable.
It's about time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, having the facilities is only part of it.
Right.
What about the teachers?
Yeah.
Like, are they equipped to handle such a diverse, range of needs?
Right. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Because the law recognizes that having qualified special education teachers or SPED teachers
Okay.
is essential for this whole thing to work.
So it's not just about throwing students with disabilities into the mix and hoping for the best.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's about having trained professionals
Right.
who understand their needs and can provide that support.
That makes sense.
And they even talk about offering incentives
Real well.
to attract and retain these specialized educators.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It shows that they're really serious
Mhm.
about making inclusive education a reality.
Uh,
That's so cool.
recognizing that investing in the teachers is just as important as the ramps and the elevator.
Right, exactly. It's all connected.
It's all connected.
So we've talked about employment education.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that this Magna Carta doesn't mess around.
No, it doesn't.
What other aspects of life does it touch on?
Okay, get ready to be even more impressed.
Okay.
Because next, we're diving into healthcare.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one I'm particularly interested in.
Yeah.
Because, healthcare is a fundamental human right.
It is.
Everyone deserves access to quality care,
Absolutely.
regardless of their abilities.
I completely agree.
So how does the law approach this?
So what's remarkable is it goes beyond just acknowledging the right.
Okay.
It lays out a plan to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay, tell me more.
Okay, so for starters, it calls for a national health program for disability.
Okay, what is that?
So this program would cover everything,
Okay.
from preventive care
Yeah.
to rehabilitation. Just making sure that people with disabilities have access to comprehensive health services.
So it's not just about treating illnesses. It's about preventing them in the first place.
Yes, exactly.
And providing long-term support.
Exactly. It's a very holistic approach.
That's huge.
It is huge, but it gets even better.
Wait, it gets better than that.
Oh, yeah.
You're spoiling us.
The law says that medical rehab centers should be established at the provincial level.
Hold on, I need to process this for a second.
Yeah.
This means that people with disabilities wouldn't always have to travel super far to be able to receive the care they need.
Exactly.
They could access it closer to home.
Think about the difference that makes,
Wow.
especially for people in rural areas.
It removes a huge barrier
Huge barrier.
to being able to get the help that they need.
Absolutely.
This is incredible. It's like they really sat down and thought, okay, how can we make this practical? How can we make life easier for people with disabilities?
They did, and it doesn't stop there.
Oh my gosh.
The law also emphasizes early detection
Okay.
and intervention.
Okay.
It wants to mandate disability screening at multiple stages of life.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about treating existing conditions, but also identifying any potential issues early on.
Yes.
So that they can be addressed more effectively.
Precisely. It's that proactive approach.
I am blown away by this.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. This law is so comprehensive
Mm-hmm.
and forward-thinking. It's really amazing.
It really is.
What else is there? Is there more?
There's always more. But what's so remarkable about this is the focus on community-based care.
Okay.
It's like they realize that true inclusion means empowering communities to support their own.
Oh, okay. So it's not just about having these big hospitals in major cities.
Right.
It's about making sure that people can get what they need in their own communities.
Exactly.
It wants to train local health workers.
Okay.
Like, give them the skills and knowledge to provide that care within their own communities. That's incredible. It's like building a network of support for people
Yes.
so that they feel seen, heard, and cared for in their own communities.
Exactly.
Wow. I am so impressed by the depth and breadth of this Magna Carta.
Right.
It's amazing.
Me too.
I can't believe it.
And we're not done yet.
Wait, there's more?
Oh, there's always more.
You're telling me that this law goes even beyond healthcare, employment, and education?
This Magna Carta is like the gift that keeps on giving.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else does this incredible Magna Carta cover?
So you know how we were talking about removing barriers?
Yeah.
Well, it's not just about physical barriers,
Right.
like stairs or buildings that are hard to get into.
Makes sense.
It's also about the invisible barriers,
Okay, like what?
like the financial burdens that make it hard for some people with disabilities to really participate in society.
Right. So how does the law address that?
It gets into the everyday expenses.
Okay.
It recognizes that every bit of support counts.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, for instance, yeah.
The Magna Carta calls for subsidized transportation
Really?
for marginalized disabled persons.
Wow, that's amazing. So many people rely on public transportation.
Right.
And it can be so expensive, especially if you need to travel for work or school or even medical appointments.
Especially with a disability.
Right, exactly.
So this is aiming to ease that burden.
That's incredible. It's those kind of practical considerations that really make a difference.
Absolutely.
What other, little things does the law address?
This one might surprise you.
Okay.
Free postal charges.
Free postal charges?
For essential items.
Wow, as in mailing things for free.
Yeah, like books, assistive devices, even repair shipments.
Wow.
It seems like a small thing,
Yeah.
but it can really add up over time.
Especially for someone on a limited income.
Exactly.
That's really cool. It's like the law is saying, we see you, we hear you.
Yes.
We're going to try to do everything we can to make your life a little bit easier.
I love that. And speaking of being seen and heard.
One more thing we should touch on, the right to vote.
Oh my gosh, yes, such an important right.
Very important.
And it's easy to take that for granted, but I'm sure for so many people with disabilities, exercising that right can be a challenge.
Absolutely.
So how does this law tackle that?
Okay, so first,
Yeah.
it very clearly says that you're allowed to have assistance during registration and voting.
Okay, so if you need help filling out forms or navigating that whole process,
Exactly.
you're allowed to have someone help you.
Exactly.
That's really important. Sometimes we forget how challenging even simple tasks can be
Yes.
for other people.
Absolutely. And the guidelines are very clear.
Okay, good.
So there's no room for confusion at the polling place.
That's crucial. The last thing you want is for someone to be denied their right to vote because of something like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about assistance.
Right.
It's about the physical space as well.
Okay.
The law says that polling places, they have to have designated accessible areas.
So ramps, wider doorways, accessible voting booths,
All of that.
the works.
Everything to make sure that everybody can vote.
That's fantastic.
With dignity.
Yes.
And ease.
It's really incredible to me how much this Magna Carta thinks of.
I know.
It's really trying to create a more inclusive society.
Step by step.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's not just about the act of voting itself.
Right.
It's about the bigger picture of participating in a democracy.
Oh, I like where you're going with this. Tell me more.
It recognizes the right of people with disabilities to assemble,
Okay.
organize, make their voices heard
Yeah.
on the issues that matter to them.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It really is.
The right to vote,
Mhm.
the right to assemble, the right to speak up. Those are the cornerstones of a thriving democracy.
They are.
And this law makes it very clear that people with disabilities are not excluded from those rights.
Exactly. It recognizes their agency,
Yes.
their right to participate
Yes.
in shaping the society they live in.
This has been such an incredible conversation.
It has.
We've covered so much ground today, from employment and education
Yeah.
to health care and even the right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clear that this Magna Carta for disabled persons is a really powerful document.
It's very powerful.
It's a testament to the progress that the Philippines has made in recognizing and upholding the rights of all its citizens.
I completely agree. It's a beacon of hope.
Yes.
A roadmap to a more inclusive future.
And even though the law provides this framework,
Yeah.
it's really up to all of us to make that vision a reality.
So true. By understanding this law, by embracing its spirit
Yes.
and advocating for it, we can all play a part in building that society where everybody,
Yes.
regardless of their abilities, has the chance to thrive.
It's a call to action for all of us. So as you go about your day today,
Yes.
think about the principles that we talked about here.
Yes.
Challenge prejudice, champion inclusion,
Mm-hmm.
and celebrate the unique contributions of every individual.
Because a society that values all of its members is a society that thrives.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder all of these ideas further. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep diving deep with us.